Austin walks out a free man. CTA cuts on the horizon. Raise the driving age to 18. Sarah Palin crashes and burns in first major interview. And Kanye West explodes on paparazzi. Tonight, WGN Radio 720's John Williams and I discuss the week's most peculiar stories, and we invite your phone calls. Stay with me for a weekend review. Radio super jock John Williams on Garrard McClendon Live. Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live Chicago. It's been a crazy week. Lipstick on pit bulls and pigs, Kanye West breaking cameras in airports, and imminent CTA cuts. And an innocent man without a maroon Buick Regal walks free. Joining us now from the Tribune Tower is WGN Radio 720's host at the 1 o'clock weekday hour, Manuka and SIU alum. Weird News Roundup is on the loose. Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live, the world of John Williams. Thanks for coming on the show, John.
Gerard, it's my pleasure. How are you?
Man, it's been a crazy week. Humans behaving strangely, man. I mean, this is unbelievable. We don't need aliens when we have people behaving like this. You know, I want to cut to a clip here shortly, but Jason Austin is a free man, John. He tiptoed through the tulips or concrete, whichever you prefer. Justice or luck of the draw. Here's the clip.
Set up a mic stand, that way you can say a few words to us. Is that okay?
Jason, do you mind if we chat with you? Don't crowd me, guys. Don't crowd me. Give me some space. Just give me some space.
Jason, your family doesn't think you're getting here before.
You know, John, this was a crazy case. I want to look at two things, though. I want you to give Jason Austin some suggestions. Let me just bring you up to speed. Here's a young man who has 2 felonies. He was accused of killing 2 people, one being a police officer, and people are saying it's faulty police work. I think this young man has 9 lives. I mean, his Buick Regal was in the shop, so they had nothing on him. What would you suggest, John, to a young man who is this lucky?
Did I hear you say get out of Dodge earlier? You know, because that's not going to last forever. I would definitely say that. Yeah. We didn't talk a lot about him, though, this week, and it's funny because that's the sort of story you would get a lot of conversation about, but since his name wasn't Sarah Palin, I didn't hear as much conversation on our show as maybe you were talking about it. You know, and there's too many stories like this anyway. I wonder if sometimes people don't see that and they say, oh, there we go again. Yeah, and you know, it's really sad to see something like this occur. I mean, justice was on his side. I just still really feel for the 2 families, the Soto family, the police officer, and the Romberg family. Looks like senior citizen rides and fuel prices have put a damper on CTA futures. Can Huberman and Governor Blagojevich, what kind of decision making are they making? Let's cut to this clip.
We're just stating the facts. So the facts are that this program has a very real cost. The facts are next year, if there's not a change, these programs will be north of $60 million. And so the bottom line is they're not free. Someone will ultimately pay for these programs. We're doing everything we can before turning to our riders in any way to turn internally first and see how much we can tighten our belt, how much we can cut costs.
So my message to the CTA is they ought to stop blaming senior citizens, and they ought to stop being dishonest to the public. They said if the General Assembly gave them that sales tax increase, that they would not increase fares, that they wouldn't lay people off, and that they wouldn't cut service. But already we know they've broken that promise.
Oh, man, you know, John, you know, for one thing, Rod Blagojevich's hairdo is always a distraction to me. You know, it's pretty big bang going on there. But here's the deal. I'm trying to, you know, he's trying to shift the blame here. There are 92,000 people, senior citizens, who are riding free. Blagojevich pretty much says if you're a senior citizen, you get carte blanche. I think he jumped the gun. I'm not dogging seniors. I think seniors should ride free.
So you don't like senior citizens? You think that you should come down on the seniors? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if a senior citizen can pay for the ride, John, come on, they should pay.
Oh, yeah, well, and if you're going to give it to senior citizens because times are tough for them, what about disabled veterans? What about pregnant mothers? What about people who have not enough money? If you're going to start to hand out free rides to people who might have trouble paying for the rides, then you don't stop at senior citizens.
Yeah.
The number I saw, though, was $30 million was the cost that the seniors were costing the CTA. They got bigger problems than $30 million. But if you're just talking about the governor's role in this, he's got to stop acting like the king.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, especially when we're dealing with rising fuel costs, the economy is looking bad right now. Hey, what about that driving age, John? Let's give full rights at 18, but no time sooner. Let them wait. Here's a clip.
Well, as a younger driver, of course, I'd probably like to have the age stay at 16 just because it's a convenience for me to be able to go where I need to go on my own with my own car. But probably as an older driver, you probably see younger people as more aggressive or not as educated, and they make more mistakes.
I just think it's way too much responsibility given to them at 16. I think 18 is definitely a good age. They haven't even earned the privilege to drive to get everywhere. So I just feel that we've just given them too much responsibility.
Oh, John, man, my phone lines are going to light up tonight. 630-575-TALK is the number. John, come on, man. You got two youngins. When are you going to let them drive, my man? 16, 17? You're going to make them wait till they're 21? Talk to me, John.
You know, I got a 16-year-old and I got a 20-year-old. So I got one who should be driving and I got one who should not be driving. Okay? And that's a 16-year-old. He doesn't have his license yet because he hasn't gotten around to getting the dang thing. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
But, you know, they got all these helicopter parents who want to control everything that their kids do and make sure that they are safe or that the parents somehow are still hovering around their lives. And there's a little of that in this, I think. The parents don't want to let go. But 16-year-olds are bad drivers. 17-year-olds are slightly better drivers. 18-year-olds are slightly better drivers still. Yeah. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with it. Are you okay with this? This is okay for me.
Hey, you know, I've got a 16-year-old, and he's a good driver, but I don't know if I can let him go alone in that car, man. You know, hey, John, speaking of helicopter parents, man, McCain camp chooses a hockey mom, and Sarah Palin gets offended by the lipstick remark. Governor Palin, study the Bush doctrine. Here's Barack on swine makeup.
You know, you can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. You know, you can...
Talk to me, John. Come on now, man. You know, this has been a crazy Palin week. She got raked over the coals by Charlie Gibson last night. What's going on, John?
Brock probably shouldn't have used that phrase because she already came out as the hockey mom / pit bull lipstick joke. She already used that metaphor. John McCain used it himself, though, when he was describing Hillary Clinton's plan. Yeah. He said, well, I don't like the plan. You can dress it up, but it's still lipstick on a pig. Yeah. I don't remember the reaction being so crazy as now when Barack Obama uses it. Even though it was probably a bad idea to say it, I don't understand the hullabaloo.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, one more story. Hey, he's written songs like Champion, Stronger, and Flashing Lights, but it looks like Kanye wanted to smash a few himself. You got to take a look at this.
Please. I took it. Help me. Help me. I took it.
Stop. Get there.
Glorious, glorious Kanye West smashing cameras in LAX with his bodyguard. TMZ was dead on it. John, what's up with the Chicago rapper, man?
I think Kanye had a good week. He debuted that new song at the end of the MTV Awards, said that he wouldn't come back on. He did fine, and nobody held him to it. And then he did to those photographers what I think some of them deserve. Each one of those pops was how many thousands of dollars on a digital camera like that?
Wait a minute, John, you're justifying this smashing of cameras?
Yes,
you think,
totally.
Well, you think TMZ is a little bit too aggressive?
I think there's places where even a Kanye West should get a little bit of privacy. He wasn't outside the MTV Awards. He wasn't going into a Tony Hollywood or even Chicago restaurant. He was just walking through the airport. Yeah. These guys jump out, and I don't know exactly what preceded that. Yeah. But if they did their snaps and now they're getting in his face and he doesn't like it, he probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm okay with kicking some of those paparazzi.
Oh, man, John Williams from WGN Radio getting violent on Garrard McClendon Live tonight. Hey, stay right there. I've got the world of John Williams on GML tonight. We're taking your phone calls at 630-575-TALK. Call me. We'll be back in 2. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. I'm with Talk Genius John Williams from WGN Radio 720 here in Chicago. Going back to the phones, John, I'm going to go to Jill. Jill, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Hey, you're live on the air with John Williams and Garrard McClendon.
Hi, Gerard.
Hi.
I just wanted to make a point about raising the driving age from 16 to 18.
Okay.
That hasn't been made. What would we propose to the parents and the students? For example, what if the parents are working parents and they can't afford to take their children to and from school and take them to the after-school activities and pick them up and on the weekends? And what do we propose to the children when we tell them that, you know, for college you need to join these organizations and you need to do extracurricular things and volunteer on the weekends if they can't drive?
So
what about the parents who work 6-7 days a week?
Okay, so Jill, you say we let them drive at the earlier age. That's what you're saying, to preclude parents from having to do a lot of running around?
They don't, some parents can't run around.
Okay.
They're at work. If you had a parent like mine from 6 to sometimes 7 or 8, and then on the weekends also, a lot of parents aren't off on the weekends. And for the kids who, a lot of people say, you know, take public transportation. For a lot of areas, it's not safe to take public transportation for a lot of the kids.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jill. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. You know, John, she does raise a good point. I mean, it's one thing to afford a car, but if you can have a second or third car for the children, you know, what do you do if you're a parent that always has to run to and fro? What do you think, John?
And public transportation doesn't exist for everybody anyway, so she's absolutely right. If some 16-year-olds, you finally say, good, now you can take yourself to practice or you can take your brother to the store or whatever needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's a complication. Frankly, I was a little blindsided by this. I did not know it was that broke, that it needed this imminent fixing. I thought the idea that you would take 16-year-olds and say, all right, you can drive maybe by yourself or with an adult for the first 9 months is a good solution, and then gradually fold them in and so that they don't have full driving rights on their own until they're 18.
Yeah, that's what Secretary of State Jesse White, he was on the show earlier, and he's proposing that. They're saying that between 16 and 18, if you raise the age, you're going to decrease the number of accidents, and they've got empirical data, so it does make sense.
Yeah, I don't argue with them, and it might be more complicated for some families, but I think the caller's absolutely right. You can't just completely pull the rug out from underneath people.
That's right.
Let the kids drive at least to school and back.
Yeah. Devon, you're on Garrard McClendon Live. Thank you for calling. Devon, what's your comment?
My comment is that they should not drive at the age of 16, because if you're giving them license to drive at the age of 16, and then they really need a permit, because if you give them license to drive, they always have a lot of kids in the car and other things happen, and I really don't think that children should be able to drive at age 16. At least wait till they're 18 years old.
So Devon, even if children are given a restriction and they're not supposed to drive with other people in the car, you think they'll do it anyway?
They'll do it anyway, because what you don't see, you don't know. And that's what really hurts you.
Yeah, Devon, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. I'm going straight to the phones. Lillian, thank you for calling. GML, what's your comment?
Hi.
Hi.
I want to know, do you think maybe it would be a good idea to pass a law that would make it a felony to belong to a street gang? Maybe it would cut down on some of the crime if they knew that they were going to have to pay with more than a misdemeanor.
Oh, Lillian, man, talk to me, Lillian. How are you going to justify? I'm really liking what you're saying.
How can I justify that?
No, I'm liking. I like what you say.
It was done with the so-called mob. I mean, make it a RICO thing for the gangs. You know, everybody knows who the gang members are. Yeah. All you got to do is go to a street corner. Selling drugs. I mean, that's illegal.
Wow.
Carrying guns at 16, 17, that's illegal.
Uh-oh. Lillian, you got a great point. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Lillian says make it a law. She calls them urban terrorists. You see them with white T-shirts on the corner. It's kind of cold outside. They don't have a coat on. They're probably selling narcotics. Hold tight, John. 630-575-TALK. Call me. More with John Williams and your calls. Was Kanye West harassed to the point of rage? Can John McCain and Sarah Palin really run the country? Not if you don't know the Bush doctrine. Study the playbook, Sarah. Garrard McClendon Live. Back after you get a sandwich. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. WGN Radio's John Williams is chilling with me as we take your phone calls, 630-575-TALK. We're going to go back to the phone shortly. You know, John, you're looking at Kanye West, looking at Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin did not know the Bush doctrine. Charlie Gibson, he asked her the question 3 times. Then he told her what the answer was, and she still couldn't come up with anything substantial. Do you think she's a fish out of water here?
Yeah, she's in over her head. She was great at the convention. She's a good speech giver. She's got spunk, and we like that.
Yeah.
But she didn't know the doctrine. And at least she didn't know what the Bush doctrine was. He says, well, that's preemptive strike. She says, oh, yeah, I'm all for that. But you weren't certain that she really had a handle on the issue.
Yeah, it was a very embarrassing situation. I felt for her. I'm not a supporter of Sarah Palin.
Did you know what the
John
Bush doctrine was before today? If I'd come up to you on the street and said, Gerard, what's the Bush doctrine? Quick, would you have known the answer?
I would have known. Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
I would have known.
I'm voting for you for vice president.
That's the bottom line,
They
man.
didn't ask you to run, though.
GML for VP, baby. Hey, I'm going back to the phones, John. Eddie is the phone call. Holler at me, Eddie.
Hi, yes, sir. Me and my wife watch the show. Pretty much the only thing what I was concerned about is Barack Obama. He did a really good job as far as the ads that came out this morning. He seems to be, well about what he needed to do. And I think in order for the Democrats to win this, they need to keep going as far as pushing their money a little farther until, we decide or everyone comes to an agreement about the Republicans. It's not a shout out to the Republicans. It's just she did not do well yesterday. She really didn't. I mean, I felt sorry for her myself. And I wanted them, the Obama, as far as, just to make sure that when he does move with this issue about change and everything, that he shows that the Republicans aren't doing what they're saying, and they're not moving with the middle-class people. And, therefore, just have a really strong, positive feel about this and letting the people know about these Republicans that aren't trying to help the people.
That's
and
right.
Not really voicing their reasons and why the people need change.
That's right. Hey, Eddie, thank you for the phone call. Appreciate that. This is interesting. I'm going to go right back to the phones. Janet, talk to me on Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment, Janet?
Pardon me?
Yes, Janet, what's your comment? Talk to me.
Hi, I just want to comment on the interview with Palin.
Keep going. Don't listen to the TV. Talk to me. Okay, come on. When you call Garrard McClendon Live, I know you want to watch me, but you know what? You got to turn the TV set down and get with Garrard McClendon and John Williams. This is Garrard McClendon Live, not taped. Can I go to Vanessa? Vanessa? Are you there, Vanessa?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Hey, make your comment on Garrard McClendon Live.
Okay, Gerard, I want to talk about the Kanye West paparazzi.
Yes.
Something needs to be done about the paparazzi.
Okay.
Look what happened with Princess Diana. What they did to her, she died, got killed or whatever, and I didn't even get a chance to meet her, and I really wanted to meet her. And the paparazzi something needs to be done about that because it's not fair. I don't agree with the way Kanye West handled the situation, but they need to do something about that.
But Vanessa, a photographer can make upwards of $100,000 for one photo. Come on, Vanessa.
It's not worth that. Is it worth someone's life?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not even that serious.
Vanessa, thank you for your call. I appreciate that. John, I think I have the most intelligent callers in Chicago.
Pretty good.
Besides the John Williams experience.
Well, and the last caller agreed with me, which makes her really smart if you ask me. She said that something needs to be done to crack down on the paparazzi too.
Yeah.
To me it's kind of like jungle warfare. It's like, all right, this is how you make your living. You're going for the $100,000 photograph, and then one of the occupational hazards is you get your cameras smashed and somebody punches you in the nose. That's just the way they do business. I really don't have much sympathy for them.
Yeah. You know what? Hold tight, John. CLTV.com/GML is where you can comment on my blog entries. Right now, I have Sarah Palin, Kanye West, and Jason Austin entries in the mix. 630-575-TALK is the number. Call me. We'll be back in 2 minutes. www.cltv.com/GML to comment on my blog, exercise your First Amendment right, and show me what you got. Final thoughts, John, and tell everyone where we can find you, John. Talk to us.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I'm on WGN Radio. You can hear me from 1 to 4 weekdays at AM 720 on your dial. You can also catch us at WGNradio.com.
You know, John, when it comes to Palin, Kanye West, which story's the sexier story, man, on the radio this week?
Kanye was a fun story. I mean, you know, it's fun just to kid about that and kind of unload a little bit on the photographers, because I like Kanye West. And I think he's actually one of those celebrities that, as outlandish as he is, he usually has one foot in the real world. You know, you don't think he's going to completely spin out of control. So I got some sympathy for that guy. Sarah Palin, though, I do not recall a conversation or a topic that more dominated our radio shows at the radio station, mine particularly, like this one did for a full week. This is what people were talking about. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know, with Sarah Palin, too, you know, once again, I feel for her, but she's really going to have to study the playbook quickly. You know, you talk about a crash course in United States and world government. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
John, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
I'll have you on my radio show next time.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. Hey, thanks to my guest, John Williams from WGN Radio. Whether it's baby mama drama in Alaska or smashing cameras in Los Angeles, we must all find peace in our lives to get through the day. Robert Frost said, the best way out is always through. Everyone watching Garrard McClendon live on CLTV, keep your head up and always be encouraged. Have a good night.
Ask or ask? Donda's rules, suit shoes. McClendonReport.com.